Well, hello.
Thanks for meeting with me today. Could you take a minute and introduce yourself? Tell us about your family.
Okay, my name is Dennis Bandy. I was born in 1951. I attended Laurie High School. When I graduated, I went to Henry Ford Community College for 2 years to pursue an engineering degree. From there, I went to Western Michigan for 2 years, where I received a bachelor's degree in industrial arts and engineering. From there, I've been to Eastern Michigan, Western Colorado. Oh, with that in mind, I have two daughters. One's 30 or 43, one's 45.
Okay.
And my one daughter that's 45 has some special needs.
Okay. All right.
She is a remarkable young lady, and I am very proud of her, as I am of all my kids.
Okay. So tell us about your daughter who has some special needs. What are some of her challenges? What diagnosis did she receive?
Well, to begin with, when she was born, she seemed perfectly normal, and everything seemed to be going well. And then she was having troubles moving and getting around and constantly crying. We took her into Children's of Detroit, where they proceeded to do a lot of blood work and do a lot of testing, and came up with the diagnosis that she had arthritis. Because they can treat arthritis with medication, they proceeded to fill her full of aspirins and things to try to help her. Didn't see a lot of progress, still a lot of pain in her, and we decided we didn't like that regimen because it could cause kidney problems and other problems internally due to the meds. So we got hooked up with Shriners Hospital, fabulous place, can't speak highly enough of them, and we took her to Chicago to have them look at her. At that time, we were still not sure what was going on, but we felt the delay in her learning was due to the pain she was suffering from the arthritis. At Children's Hospital, instead of all the medications, they taught us a series of different exercises we could do with her. Took my bathtub out in downstairs and put a heated sandbox in so it would warm her joints so she could move more freely. My wife worked constantly with her to try to improve mobility and flexibility. And after a few years, it seemed to be paying off, but we still saw that there was some impairment in her learning skills. I took her into a friend of mine who was a special needs teacher at the high school, and at that time she said that my daughter had a very low functioning IQ and that there wasn't a lot we should expect, that the long-term possibilities would be for her to wind up in a group home or in a home situation where somebody could take care of her. I didn't like the diagnosis. I respected it, but didn't like it. So I decided to do alternative things to help my daughter out. In the schools at that time, they were teaching them to read and write and do math, which has value for some kids, but for her, because her IQ is so low, it just didn't seem to fit what I wanted for her. I wanted her to be independent, I wanted her to be self-sufficient, and I wanted her to do the best she could with the skills that she had. So we started out by bribing her to go out and do chores. Her first chores were to collect pop bottles. If she wanted something, we would make her earn it. She continued going to school. Their primary goal was to get her to read and write, which I didn't think was going to happen with the diagnosis of the low IQ, so I wanted her to become a good worker, and I focused on that. Having skills that would translate into having a productive life. I wanted more, so I kept pushing. With the help of a neighbor who happened to be a teacher at one of the local high schools that my daughter was attending, she secured her a job with Meyer. And I can't say enough about Meyer. Meyer is a fabulous company that treats handicapped employees like they're a regular person, and that's what you want. So with that, you have to have a job coach, and she got one, and she happened to start out working after school a couple days a week at Myers. And I kept in close contact with her boss to make sure that she was working well and she was doing the things she should be doing. And if there was a bump in the road, I tried to intervene on her behalf and explain things to the boss and to her. And through that, she started to work more and more, which they would train her, and she had a job coach at the time, which would work with her and help her out. She worked 40 hours for several weeks and wound up being grandfathered into the union or placed into the union because she was working full time for too long a period for them to put her back to part time. It was luck, but it was also her being a good worker, showing up for work on time, something we stressed, making sure she was polite and courteous, which we stressed. Some of the things we tried to teach her and have the school teacher was to how to manage life outside her special needs classroom. Through that, she became a full-time employee and was working well and did several different jobs, including running the salad bar at Myers when they had it. And she continued to grow and develop into a conscientious worker and have skills that were translated into normal work life and normal life in general. A gentleman named Herb Happel, fantastic man, worked diligently with her, found options to eliminate the reading problem, would place stickers on stock, different colors, so she could go by and restock things she could understand. She still hasn't learned how to read, and that is always going to be a deficit and a hurdle she has to get over, but she has made great strides in learning how to cope and deal with the situations as the people that work with her. Herb had decided that she needed to learn more than one or two jobs. So he would have her do a lot of different things. She would clean the bathroom. She would push the carts out. She would do the stock. She would run the money. She would clean up any floor messes. He had her loaned out to other areas in the store where she could actually learn how to do more than one thing, so she would become a more valuable member of the Meyer team. Now she has her anniversary date coming up next month, where she will be working at Meyer's 25 years. And enjoys it and enjoys having a job and being self-sufficient. She has her own house, which through luck we got her. She lives alone because she doesn't like sharing with other people. She's a little self-centered in that way, but she will allow people to come visit, and she enjoys that. She likes parties and she likes to have fun. She likes bike riding, and Special Olympics has played an important role in her life. It is something she focuses on, and it is a carrot when we have problems with her that we can use to get her to respond in the way we think is necessary for her to live a healthy and strong life, and one that contributes to the community. She has had problems with keeping her support system intact, and because she makes more than the minimal amount, she was struggling keeping support at all until they come up with the Freedom to Work Act. This act has been a godsend. It has helped her out where she can maintain staff. She has staff 5 hours a day, 7 days a week, They just help her with her needs, her cooking, trying to improve her reading skills, her vocabulary, eating in public. It's just something that keeps her on the level where people are going to accept her more freely. And without freedom to work, she would have had to make a choice to either go back to working part-time and being dependent on me and the state, or she would have had to just abandon everything she has as far as support and live on her own and do the best she could.
Okay. Good. So, can you talk about what challenges you faced when parenting her over the course of 45 years? How did the acceptance change? How did people view your not necessarily taking the doctor's word as just this is what she's capable of, but you push those limits?
Some people, I have friends that thought I was brutal on her because I would make her do things. They thought I should cater and coddle her, and I wasn't mean to her, but I was firm in the fact that there were things that she had to do in life that other people weren't just going to do for her. So I would force her to do it. I would force her to get out and pick up in the yard, to do house chores. If she didn't, she would lose things. Like I said, the tool was Special Olympics. If you don't want to do your chores, then you don't want to go to Special Olympics. And that was important to her in her life. So she decided that.
Yeah. So 45 years in now, what do you wish you knew when you were just starting out? Maybe some people are just hearing a diagnosis for their kids or willing to foster a child who has some special needs. What do you wish you could go back and tell yourself?
I wish I would have made my plans sooner. I wish I would have intervened on her behalf when I was being told things, because a lot of times you're told as parents, me and my wife, with a group of 6 or 8 people around telling you what her deficiencies were. I would advocate more on what her capabilities were rather than what her deficiencies were. So the thing is, you have to find out what your child needs, and even now I have to, and before I had to find out what she needed, and then you have to set goals to try to achieve that. Now, some of them you achieve, some of them you don't. Would I like her to be able to read? I would love it. She would love to be able to read because she's always wanted a job at the airport, and that's one of the things stopping her. She can't read to function at the airport. But now, I just wish I would have looked at things a little differently at the beginning and advocated more for her on what she could do rather than what she couldn't.
So an overall theme that I'm hearing is the supports that you have in place and advocating for the needs of your child. Yeah. Well, I'd like to say from the sidelines, I think you've done a remarkable job with her. We know Carrie and can see your years of hard work and dedication to her that has helped her success story. So
Thank you.
This is why we've chosen to have this talk with you today, because I think people can benefit from the information and the experience that you've had in helping her live her best life.
There is a place